night has become quiet. Outside your window, the world is slowly settling into darkness. The roads grow calmer, the voices grow softer. Even the wind seems to whisper more gently than it did before. And yet, inside your mind, something is still awake. Perhaps your thoughts keep replaying today's conversations. Perhaps they are already wandering into tomorrow. Perhaps they move from one worry to another, never stopping long enough for sleep to arrive. If that feels familiar, then tonight's story is for you. Not because it will force your mind to become quiet, but because it may gently remind you that the mind was never meant to be forced into silence. It only needed someone to show it the way home. So, find a comfortable position. Allow your shoulders to soften. Take one slow breath, and together, let us walk toward a quiet mountain monastery where a young traveler believed his restless mind would never know peace. Long ago, hidden among mountains wrapped in cedar forests and drifting clouds, there stood an ancient monastery. It was not famous. Travelers rarely found it. Those who did seldom spoke about it afterward, not because there were secrets hidden within its walls, but because the peace they discovered there could never be fully explained with words. People simply returned home, a little quieter than before. One autumn evening, just as the last golden light disappeared behind the mountains, a young traveler climbed the final stone steps leading toward the monastery gate. His name was Ren. He had walked for many days. Dust covered his boots. His shoulders sagged beneath a heavy pack. But it was not the journey that exhausted him. It was his mind. Every night, it refused to rest. The moment darkness arrived, so did countless thoughts, questions, plans, old conversations, imagined futures, mistakes from years ago, problems that did not yet exist. His body begged for sleep. His mind refused. When he reached the wooden gate, he found an elderly monk sweeping fallen leaves. The monk looked up with kind eyes. He smiled as though he had been expecting Ren all along. "You have traveled far." Ren bowed politely. "I have." And yet, the monk glanced toward the young man's forehead. "The longest journey has not been your feet." Ren lowered his eyes. He understood immediately. "My mind never becomes quiet." The old monk nodded gently. As happens to many travelers, Ren asked, "Can you teach me how to stop thinking?" The monk chuckled softly. "If I asked the river to stop flowing, would it become peaceful?" Ren thought for a moment. "No, it would simply become trapped." The monk leaned his broom against the stone wall. "My name is Master Sora." He opened the monastery gate. "Come inside. The evening tea is almost ready." Ren expected meditation, ancient scrolls, difficult lessons. Instead, he found a warm kitchen filled with the scent of roasted barley tea. Several young monks quietly prepared simple bowls of rice and vegetables. No one hurried. No one spoke loudly. Even ordinary movements seemed calm. Master Sora poured tea into 2 clay cups. Steam curled gently into the cool evening air. He handed 1 cup to Ren. "Tell me, what does your mind do when you lie down to sleep?" Ren sighed. "It begins speaking." "What does it say?" "It asks whether I forgot something. It imagines tomorrow. It remembers yesterday. It worries about people. It creates problems. It solves problems, then creates new ones." Master Sora smiled kindly. "And how long has it been doing this?" Ren laughed quietly. "I cannot remember a time when it did not." The old monk lifted his teacup. He waited. Neither spoke. Only the steam continued rising between them. Finally, Master Sora asked, "What do you see?" "The tea." "What else?" the steam, and after the steam disappears, Ren watched carefully. For the first time since arriving, he looked without thinking ahead. The steam slowly faded into the evening air. Only the tea remained. It becomes still. Master Sora nodded. The tea was always still. The steam only made it difficult to see. Ren frowned slightly. I don't understand. You will. The old monk smiled. But not tonight. He stood and carried his empty cup into the garden. Ren followed. The monastery overlooked a small pond, surrounded by smooth stones and maple trees. The last crimson leaves floated gently upon the water. Master Sora knelt beside the pond. He picked up a small branch and stirred the water. Circles spread across the surface. The moon, reflected only moments before, disappeared into broken fragments. The old monk asked, "Where did the moon go?" "It is still there," Ren answered. "The water is moving." Master Sora smiled. Exactly. He placed the stick aside. Together they watched. The ripples slowly became smaller, then softer, then almost invisible. Little by little, the moon returned, not because anyone forced the pond to become calm, not because the pond struggled to become still. It simply stopped being disturbed. The reflection had been waiting all along. Master Sora looked gently toward Ren. "Your mind is much like this pond." Ren remained silent. "The peace you seek is not missing. It is simply hidden beneath restless ripples." A cool breeze moved through the maple trees. Several leaves drifted softly onto the pond. Tiny circles spread outward once again. Master Sora did not stop them. He simply watched. "They arrive," he said quietly. "They pass. The pond remains." Ren continued watching the water. For the first time in many months, perhaps years, he wondered if peace was not something to create, but something to uncover. The old monk smiled as though hearing the thought before it was spoken. "Tomorrow morning, we begin, but tonight," he looked once more at the quiet pond. "Do not try to quiet your mind. Simply notice it, as you would notice falling leaves, as you would notice clouds crossing the sky, as you would notice ripples upon water." Ren nodded slowly. For once, he did not leave with another problem to solve, only something gentle to observe. And somehow, that felt lighter than any answer he had ever received. The monastery awakened long before sunrise, not with noise, not with bells, but with silence. The kind of silence that gently invites the world to wake. Ren opened his eyes. For a brief moment, his mind was quiet. Then, almost immediately, the familiar stream of thoughts returned. Did I sleep enough? What lesson will Master Sora teach today? Will my mind ever become peaceful? He smiled faintly. Even after yesterday's lesson beside the pond, the ripples had returned. After washing his face with cool spring water, he followed a narrow stone path through the monastery gardens. Morning mist drifted slowly among the pine trees. Birds greeted the sunrise with soft songs. Young monks swept fallen leaves without speaking. Everything moved with gentle purpose. No one appeared rushed. No one seemed trapped inside tomorrow. Master Sora waited beside an old cedar tree. His hands rested calmly behind his back. "Good morning, Ren." The young traveler bowed. "Master, my thoughts returned almost as soon as I woke." The old monk smiled. "Of course they did." Ren looked surprised. "You expected them to disappear after one lesson." A quiet laugh escaped the master's lips. "If a lake has been stirred for many years, would you expect one peaceful evening to calm every wave?" Ren lowered his head. "No, Master Sora nodded kindly. Come, there is somewhere I would like to show you. They walked beyond the gardens, past the meditation hall, past rows of bamboo that whispered softly in the morning breeze. Eventually they reached an old stone building, standing slightly apart from the rest of the monastery. Its walls were thick, its wooden door weathered by countless seasons. Master Sora gently pushed it open. Inside, the room was almost empty. Only smooth stone walls, a single window, a woven mat, nothing more. The air felt cool, still, timeless. Sit, the master said softly. Ren sat in the center of the room. Master Sora remained standing near the doorway. Then he spoke one word. Hello. A moment later, the room answered. Hello. The echo drifted back through the stone walls, then faded. Master Sora spoke again. Peace. The room replied. Peace. Again the echo returned, then disappeared. The old monk looked toward Ren. Now you try. Ren hesitated, then quietly said, I am tired. The walls answered. I am tired. The words returned, softer, then vanished. Again he spoke. I cannot stop thinking. The room answered gently. I cannot stop thinking. Silence returned. Master Sora smiled. What did the room do? It echoed. Did it choose the words? No. Did it create them? No. It only returned what it received. The old monk nodded. Our minds often behave the same way. Ren remained quiet. Master Sora continued. A single thought enters. What if tomorrow goes badly? The mind repeats it. What if tomorrow goes badly? Then again, perhaps something terrible will happen. And again. Soon, it sounds as though many voices are speaking, when in truth, it was only one. Ren felt something shift inside him. He remembered countless nights lying awake. One small concern becoming 10, then 20. Not because life had become worse, but because his mind kept echoing the same fear. Master Sora walked slowly across the room. When people fear their thoughts, they often shout back. He raised his voice slightly. Stop thinking. The room answered immediately. Stop thinking. The echo seemed louder than before. Again. Then faded. The old monk smiled. The harder we shout, the louder the echoes become. Ren watched the empty room. Its lesson required no explanation. Master Sora lowered his voice until it was barely more than a whisper. Peace. The echo returned. Softly, almost tenderly, then disappeared. The room became silent once again. Notice, the old monk said. The room never kept the echo. It always let it leave. Ren looked slowly around the stone walls. He had been trying to fight every thought, argue with every worry, silence every memory. Perhaps he had been shouting inside his own mind. Master Sora sat beside him. When a thought appears tonight, do not argue, do not chase, do not obey. Simply hear it. As the room hears an echo, Ren closed his eyes. Almost immediately, a thought appeared. Will this really work? Instead of answering it, he simply noticed it. Like a distant sound, it lingered, then slowly drifted away. Another thought came. What if I fail? Again. He noticed it. Nothing more. After a little while, even the silence between thoughts became noticeable. Not long, only a breath or two, but it was there. Master Sora smiled. What do you hear now? Ren listened carefully. The wind outside. What else? A bird. What else? He waited, then answered softly. Silence. The old monk nodded. The silence was always here. The echoes only made it difficult to hear. Sunlight slowly entered through the small window. A narrow beam of golden light stretched across the stone floor. Tiny dust particles floated peacefully within it, never hurried, never resisting, simply drifting. Master Sora watched them for a long moment. Thoughts are much like these. They appear, they dance, they disappear. The room remains, the sky remains, the pond remains, and beneath every busy mind, there is already a quiet place waiting. Ren felt no great revelation, no dramatic transformation, only something much gentler. Hope, not the hope that tomorrow would be perfect, but the quiet hope that perhaps his thoughts did not need to disappear before peace could arrive. Perhaps peace had been sitting quietly beneath them all along. As they left the stone room, the morning breeze greeted them once again. The monastery looked exactly as it had before. The mountains had not changed. The trees had not changed. Only the way Ren listened had begun to change. And for the first time in a very long while, the echoes inside his mind no longer seemed like enemies. They were simply sounds passing through an empty room. That evening, the valley disappeared beneath a blanket of mist. Not the heavy fog that frightens travelers, but a soft white veil that gently wrapped every tree, every stone, and every quiet path. From the monastery courtyard, even the nearest pine trees appeared only as gentle shadows. The mountains had vanished completely. The stars remained hidden behind the clouds. Only the warm glow of lanterns, resting beneath the temple roof, hinted that the world still continued beyond the mist. Ren stood beneath the wooden gate. He had finished another peaceful day of work in the monastery. He had swept the garden, helped prepare supper, carried water from the spring. His body felt pleasantly tired. Yet, as night arrived, his thoughts slowly began returning. What if I leave here and lose this peace? What if tomorrow my mind becomes busy again? What if nothing truly changes? He noticed the questions. Just as Master Sora had taught him, he did not answer them. He did not argue. Still, they lingered. Master Sora stepped quietly from the meditation hall, carrying 2 small lanterns. Each lantern was simple, made of weathered wood and rice paper. Inside each burned a single, steady candle. The old monk handed one lantern to Ren. "It is time for an evening walk." Ren looked toward the mist covering the valley. "It is difficult to see." Master Sora smiled. "Yes, that is why tonight is the perfect night." Together they left the monastery. The stone path disappeared only a few steps ahead. The lantern illuminated perhaps 3 or 4 paces. No more. Beyond that, only soft white mist. Ren instinctively lifted the lantern higher, as if doing so might reveal the entire road. It did not. Master Sora continued walking calmly. His lantern swung gently beside him, never hurried, never uncertain. Ren finally asked, "Master, how can you walk so confidently when you cannot see where the path ends?" The old monk chuckled softly. "My lantern has never promised to show me the end." He paused. "It only promises the next few steps." The words settled into the cool evening air. They continued walking. One step, then another. The lantern revealed another section of the path, then another. Each time they moved forward, the light quietly moved with them. Master Sora stopped beside an old stone marker. Its weathered surface was almost hidden beneath moss. He pointed toward the darkness ahead. What do you see? Ren squinted into the mist. Almost nothing, and yet, we arrived here safely. Ren nodded. We did. Did you need to see the entire valley? No. The entire mountain? No. The entire journey? Again, no. Master Sora smiled. Only the next step. A gentle breeze drifted through the fog. For a brief moment, the mist parted. Far away, the faint outline of distant mountains appeared. Then, almost immediately, they vanished again. Ren watched carefully. It disappeared. The old monk nodded. Did the mountain disappear? No, only my view. Master Sora looked kindly toward him. Peace often behaves the same way. Sometimes we believe it has left us, but often, only the fog has become thicker. They resumed walking. The night remained wonderfully quiet. No voices, no hurry, only footsteps, and the soft rhythm of two lanterns swaying gently through the mist. After several minutes, they reached a small wooden bridge crossing a narrow stream. The water below reflected tiny fragments of lantern light. Master Sora paused in the center of the bridge. He rested both hands upon the railing. When you lie awake at night, how far ahead does your mind usually travel? Ren smiled weakly. Years, the old monk laughed. Years, and where is your body? Here, tonight. Exactly, Master Sora gently lifted the lantern. Your body lives within the circle of light, but your thoughts, they often wander far beyond it. Ren watched the warm glow resting upon the wooden bridge. The light reached only a short distance, yet it was enough. Enough to stand safely, enough to continue, enough for this moment. Master Sora continued. Most suffering begins when the mind insists on walking miles beyond the lantern. The words echoed gently inside Ren. How many nights had he walked into futures that never arrived? How many imagined conversations, imagined failures, imagined losses, entire journeys, without ever leaving his bed? The old monk stepped from the bridge. Soon they entered a cedar forest where the mist grew even thicker. Sometimes Ren could no longer see Master Sora, only the small golden lantern floating ahead. Oddly, that was enough. He simply followed the light, one peaceful step after another. No fear, no rushing. After a while, the path widened into a quiet clearing. In its center stood an enormous pine tree. Its branches disappeared into the white mist above. Master Sora placed his lantern upon a smooth stone. He looked upward. Tell me, where does this tree end? Ren looked. I cannot see. Does that prevent the tree from growing? No. Does the tree become anxious because the fog hides its highest branches? Ren smiled. No. The old monk nodded. It continues becoming what it already is, whether it sees the sky or not. Silence settled gently around them. The fog wrapped softly around the ancient tree. The lantern continued glowing. Warm, steady, faithful. Master Sora spoke again. Many people postpone peace until they can clearly see tomorrow. They say, when I know what will happen, then I will relax. Then I will sleep. Then I will stop worrying. He looked toward Ren. But tomorrow has always lived inside fog. It always will. The breeze moved again. Tiny droplets of mist sparkled briefly within the lantern light, like countless little stars, then disappeared. Master Sora smiled. Wisdom is not seeing farther. Wisdom is trusting the light you already have. Ren lowered his eyes to the lantern resting quietly beside him. Its flame never struggled. It never tried to light the entire forest. It simply shone, steadily, patiently, without comparing itself to the sun, without fearing the darkness around it, only offering enough light. For the next gentle step, the realization arrived quietly. Perhaps sleep was much the same. He did not need to solve tomorrow before closing his eyes. He did not need certainty before resting. He only needed enough peace for this breath, this moment, this night. As they slowly walked back toward the monastery, the mist remained. Nothing had changed outside. The valley was still hidden. The mountains were still unseen. The future was still unknown. Yet each step felt lighter. Not because Ren finally knew what tomorrow would bring, but because he no longer believed he needed to. The lantern continued glowing warmly beside him. Its small circle of light moved gently across the ancient stones. One step, another quiet breath. And somewhere within that small circle of light, his busy mind had begun learning a forgotten truth. Peace was never found at the end of the path. It was found within the very next step. Several days passed quietly. Morning followed morning. Evening followed evening. The rhythm of the monastery never hurried. At dawn, the bell welcomed a new day. By afternoon, sunlight warmed the stone paths. At night, the mountains disappeared beneath blankets of stars. Little by little, Ren noticed something changing. His thoughts had not disappeared. They still arrived, sometimes while sweeping the courtyard, sometimes while drinking tea, sometimes just before sleep. But now, they no longer seemed quite as loud. They came. They stayed for a while. Then, almost unnoticed, they left. One crisp autumn afternoon, Master Sora invited Ren beyond the monastery walls once again. The air carried the scent of cedar and cool earth. A gentle breeze wandered through the forest. Golden sunlight slipped between tall pine trees. Eventually, they entered a valley filled with ancient maple trees. Every branch shimmered with brilliant shades of crimson, amber, and gold. The forest looked as though it had been painted by the season itself. Leaves drifted gently through the air. Some spun slowly, others floated almost without movement. Each one found its own quiet path toward the earth. Master Sora stopped beneath one enormous maple tree. He looked upward, watched carefully. Neither of them spoke. Another leaf loosened from its branch. For a brief moment, it danced with the wind, turning, twisting, floating, never resisting. Finally, it settled upon the forest floor. Softly, silently, the old monk asked, "Did the leaf decide where the wind would carry it?" Ren shook his head. No. Did it struggle? No. Did it cling to the branch after its season had ended? Again. No. Master Sora smiled. The leaf understands something many people forget. Ren waited quietly. It knows exactly when to let go. The breeze returned. This time dozens of leaves began drifting together. The forest seemed alive with quiet movement. None of the leaves appeared afraid. None looked backward. None tried to climb back onto the branches they had left. Each simply accepted the journey downward. Master Sora bent to pick up a single crimson leaf. He placed it gently upon the palm of his hand. When people cannot sleep, they often cling to thoughts the way frightened hands cling to rope. He closed his fingers tightly around the leaf. "What happens now?" Ren answered softly. "The leaf cannot move." The old monk slowly opened his hand. The breeze immediately carried the leaf away. "And now?" "It continues." Master Sora nodded. "So do thoughts." The two continued walking through the maple forest. Leaves whispered softly beneath their feet. The sound was gentle, comforting, almost like quiet rain. After some time, they reached a small clearing. In its center rested a smooth stone bench. Master Sora sat. Ren joined him. For several moments, neither spoke. The forest itself became the teacher. Leaves falling, branches swaying, birds singing somewhere beyond the trees. The old monk finally broke the silence. "Close your eyes." Ren obeyed. "What do you notice?" "My breathing." "What else?" "The wind." "What else?" "A thought." "What thought?" "I wonder if I am doing this correctly." Master Sora smiled. "Good. Now imagine placing that thought upon one of these leaves." Ren pictured a bright golden maple leaf. Upon it rested the simple thought, "Am I doing this correctly?" "Now," the old monk whispered, "watch the wind." In his imagination, the breeze gently lifted the leaf. It floated away, across the clearing, between the trees, until it disappeared. The thought disappeared with it. Another thought appeared almost immediately. "What if it returns?" Master Sora spoke softly. "Another leaf." Again, Ren imagined placing the thought upon a leaf. Again, the breeze carried it away. Another thought arrived. "I have so much to do." Another leaf, another gentle breeze, another quiet farewell. Minutes passed, or perhaps longer. Ren no longer counted. Each thought became a leaf. Each leaf became lighter. Each breeze carried it beyond the trees. Not because he forced it away. Not because he rejected it. Simply because he stopped holding it. Master Sora quietly said, "The mind creates thoughts. The heart holds them. The hands cling to them." He paused. "But peace begins when the hands finally open." Ren slowly opened his eyes. The maple forest shimmered before him. Hundreds of leaves continued their silent descent. Not one tried to remain upon the branch forever. Not one feared touching the earth. Everything trusted the season. Master Sora looked toward the canopy overhead. The tree never mourns every leaf. It knows another spring will come. The words settled deeply inside Ren. Perhaps he had been grieving every passing thought, every mistake, every fear, every possibility, holding each one long after its season had ended. The old monk reached into the pocket of his robe. He removed a tiny wooden bowl. Inside were several dry maple seeds. He poured them gently into Ren's hands. "What do you notice?" "They're very small, yet each carries an entire tree." Master Sora smiled. "Thoughts are much the same. Some become forests, only because we continue watering them." A long silence followed. The wind answered where words no longer could. One leaf landed softly upon Ren's shoulder. He smiled. For a moment, he almost reached to brush it away. Instead, he simply watched. Another breeze arrived. The leaf lifted once more and quietly continued its journey. Nothing had been lost. Nothing needed to be held. As the sun slowly lowered behind the mountains, golden light filled the forest. The falling leaves seemed to glow from within. Master Sora stood. "It is time to return." They began walking back toward the monastery. The path was covered with countless leaves. Each step created a gentle whisper beneath their feet. Ren noticed his mind again. A thought appeared. "Will I always remember this lesson?" He smiled softly. Without effort, he imagined placing the thought upon a crimson leaf. The evening breeze welcomed it. The leaf floated peacefully into the forest, and the thought floated with it. The path ahead remained quiet. The mountains waited patiently beneath the fading sky. Somewhere above the trees, More leaves continued falling, one by one, without fear, without resistance, without regret, and with every gentle leaf that touched the earth, Ren understood a little more clearly that a peaceful mind is not a mind without thoughts. It is a mind that knows how to let them drift away. The following morning arrived wrapped in silver mist. The monastery was quiet, even quieter than usual. The bell had already welcomed the dawn. Breakfast had ended. The young monks had scattered across the gardens and workshops, each attending to simple tasks with quiet hands. Ren was sweeping the stone steps leading toward the temple gate. The broom moved in slow, even strokes, back and forth, back and forth. Dry maple leaves gathered into gentle little piles. As he swept, another memory appeared. A conversation from years before. Someone he had disappointed. Words he wished he had never spoken. The memory felt strangely vivid. For a moment, it seemed as real as the broom in his hands. He stopped sweeping, without thinking. He began replaying the conversation. If only I had answered differently. If only I had stayed. If only I had known. The familiar ache quietly returned. Master Sora, who had been trimming a nearby pine tree, looked up. "You have traveled very far." Ren blinked. "I haven't left the monastery." The old monk smiled. "No, but your mind has." Ren looked down. "I was remembering." Master Sora rested the pruning shears upon a wooden bench. "Come, there is another teacher waiting." They followed a narrow trail descending toward the valley floor. Morning sunlight slowly dissolved the mist. The forest awakened around them. Birdsong echoed softly through the trees. Small streams crossed the path, their clear water sparkling beneath the light. Eventually, the trail opened beside a broad mountain river. The water flowed with quiet confidence, neither fast nor slow, only steady, only constant. Smooth stones rested beneath the crystal-clear current. Tiny leaves floated downstream. Some spun gently, others moved almost without turning. Each disappeared quietly around the distant bend. Master Sora stood upon the riverbank. "Sit with me." They settled upon two large sun-warmed stones. Neither spoke for a long while. The river did not seem to mind. It continued singing its quiet song, always moving, always leaving, never returning. At last, Master Sora asked, "What were you remembering?" Ren hesitated. "A mistake from many years ago." "Does it still exist?" Ren frowned. "The memory does." "The moment?" The young traveler looked toward the water. "No, it has passed." Master Sora nodded. He picked up a small stick resting beside the river. Without speaking, he gently placed it into the current. The little stick drifted away. Neither of them followed it. Neither tried to retrieve it. It simply continued downstream. The old monk smiled. "The river understands something." Ren watched the stick disappear around the bend. "What is that?" "It never turns around to collect yesterday's water." Silence settled between them. The river answered with its gentle voice. The old monk continued. "Imagine if it tried." He pointed upstream. "What would happen?" Ren laughed softly. "It could never flow. It would become trapped." Master Sora nodded. "Exactly. The river moved because it released, not because it held on." Ren lowered his eyes. "Then why does my mind always return?" The old monk smiled kindly. "Because it believes looking back will change what has already passed." Ren felt those words deeply. How many nights had he spent rewriting conversations, changing endings that could never change, searching for perfect answers years too late? Master Sora reached into the water. He lifted a smooth grey stone. This stone has lived here for centuries. He turned it slowly in his hands. Listen carefully. He dropped the stone back into the river. A gentle splash. Circles spread outward. Then, nothing. The current continued exactly as before. The river noticed. He said softly, but it did not stop flowing. Ren watched the widening circles disappear. So it is with life. Moments happen. They leave ripples. But eventually, the river continues. A cool breeze moved across the water. Tiny reflections danced upon the surface. Thousands of little flashes of sunlight shimmered briefly, then vanished. Master Sora smiled. Notice, the river never asks, why did that leaf fall? Why did that branch break? Why was yesterday different? It simply carries everything forward. Another leaf floated between them. Golden. Beautiful. It spun once, twice, then quietly continued downstream. Master Sora whispered, "That leaf has already accepted something." Ren watched until it disappeared completely. What has it accepted? That the river only knows one direction. Forward. The word echoed gently inside him. Forward. Not hurried, not forced. Simply forward. The old monk looked toward the mountains. When people lie awake at night, they often stand upon the riverbank, trying to call yesterday back. Ren smiled sadly. "I have done that. So have I." Master Sora answered with surprising honesty. The young traveler looked at him in surprise. "You?" The old monk chuckled. "Even monks are human. There was a time when I believed every mistake deserved endless replay." "What changed?" Master Sora watched the current for a long while before answering. "I became tired of swimming against rivers." Another silence followed. The river filled it beautifully. No words were needed. Only water, only movement, only gentle flow. Master Sora reached into his robe and removed a small paper boat. He handed it to Ren. "Write nothing." Ren looked confused. "Nothing?" "Yes." The young traveler smiled. He placed the empty paper boat upon the current. Immediately the river welcomed it. The tiny boat drifted gracefully downstream. The old monk asked, "What did you place inside?" "Nothing." "And what did the river carry?" Ren smiled. "The boat." "Exactly." Master Sora's eyes sparkled. "The river never asks what is inside. It simply carries. Perhaps your heart can learn to do the same." Ren watched the little boat become smaller, then disappear beyond the bend. Oddly, he did not feel sadness, only quiet, only release, only space. The breeze grew warmer as the sun climbed higher. Dragonflies skimmed lightly across the surface. A fish briefly broke through the water, then vanished again. The river welcomed each moment, then released it. Without hesitation, without regret. Master Sora slowly stood. "It is time." Ren rose beside him. Before leaving, he looked at the river one final time. Another thought appeared. The same old conversation, the same old regret. This time, he imagined placing it gently upon a tiny wooden boat. He watched it drift into the current. He did not push it. He did not chase it. He simply allowed the river to do what rivers have always done. Carry, release, continue. As they climbed the forest path back toward the monastery, the sound of flowing water gradually faded behind them. Yet something inside Ren remained with the river. Not the water itself, not the stones, not the leaves, but its quiet wisdom, that nothing beautiful is found by standing forever in yesterday. The river never forgot where it had been, but neither did it try to return. It honored every bend, every stone, every season. By continuing its gentle journey, one peaceful moment after another, and perhaps a quiet mind was learning to do exactly the same. The days continued unfolding with quiet simplicity. Morning light touched the monastery roofs. The cedar trees welcomed gentle winds. The little stream beside the gardens continued singing its familiar song. Nothing extraordinary happened, and perhaps that was the greatest lesson of all. Peace rarely arrives with fireworks. It arrives quietly, like dawn, like snowfall, like the first deep breath after a long day. Ren had begun sleeping a little longer each night. Not perfectly. There were still evenings when thoughts returned before sleep. There were still mornings when old worries knocked softly upon the door of his mind. But something had changed. He no longer invited them inside for tea. He simply noticed them, then returned to his breath, returned to the sounds of the night, returned to the quiet space that Master Sora had helped him discover. One afternoon, as clouds drifted lazily across the mountains, Master Sora approached Ren while he was tending the monastery garden. The old monk smiled. "Today, we climb." Ren looked toward the distant peaks. "They seem very high." Master Sora chuckled. "So do many thoughts." Together they left the monastery once again. The trail wound gently upward through forests of cedar and pine. Sunlight filtered through branches overhead. The air grew cooler as they climbed. Every now and then, they paused beside wildflowers growing between ancient rocks. Tiny blue blossoms, bright yellow petals, delicate white flowers no larger than a fingertip, each blooming quietly, without asking anyone to notice, without comparing themselves to the others. Master Sora stopped beside one tiny flower. "It blooms," he said softly, even though no one applauds. Ren smiled. The lesson needed no explanation. After another hour, the trees began growing smaller. The forest slowly opened. Soon they reached a wide grassy ridge, overlooking the entire valley. Far below, the monastery appeared no larger than a child's toy. The river shimmered like a silver ribbon. Fields stretched peacefully toward distant hills. Above them, the sky seemed endless, clear blue in every direction. Only a handful of white clouds drifted slowly across its vastness. Master Sora sat upon a large flat stone. He motioned for Ren to join him. For a long while, neither spoke. The wind moved gently through the grass. Birds circled high above. Clouds continued their slow journey. The old monk finally asked, "What do you see?" "The sky." "What else?" "The clouds." Master Sora nodded. "Which is larger?" Ren laughed quietly. "The sky, much larger." "And which one do people usually notice first?" Ren looked upward again. "The clouds." "Why?" "They move. They change. They attract attention." Master Sora smiled. "So do thoughts." Silence returned. A single cloud drifted across the sun. For a moment, the valley grew slightly darker. Then, just as gently, the cloud continued onward. Sunlight returned. Nothing had happened to the sun. Nothing had happened to the sky. Only a passing cloud. The old monk pointed upward. "Has the sky become smaller?" "No." "Has the sky become damaged?" "No." "Has the sky tried to push the cloud away?" Ren shook his head. "No. It simply allows it to pass." Master Sora's voice became almost as soft as the breeze. "Your awareness is the sky. Your thoughts are the clouds." Ren remained completely still. The words entered him slowly, like warm sunlight after rain. He watched another cloud. This one was larger, grey around the edges. It covered much of the valley below. For several minutes, everything beneath it became shadowed. Then, without effort, the wind carried it onward. Blue sky appeared once more. Master Sora continued, "When people cannot sleep, they often mistake themselves for the cloud." Ren whispered, "And forget they are the sky." The old monk's eyes brightened. Exactly. Another silence, long, comfortable, healing. The breeze continued brushing gently across the hillside. Grass moved like gentle waves. Somewhere nearby, a hawk glided effortlessly upon invisible currents of air, never flapping desperately, simply trusting the wind. Master Sora watched it for a while. Look at the bird. It does not control the wind. It learns to move with it. Ren followed the hawk until it became a tiny shadow against the horizon, then disappeared completely. The sky remained. The old monk closed his eyes. "I want you to try something." Ren did the same. "Imagine your mind." Almost immediately, thoughts appeared. "Will I remember all these lessons? What happens when I return home? Will the old worries return?" Master Sora spoke gently. "Do not chase them. Do not answer them. Simply watch." Ren imagined the thoughts becoming clouds. One soft white cloud carried the question about tomorrow. Another held an old memory. Another carried uncertainty. They drifted slowly across an endless blue sky. He did nothing. He simply watched. The clouds moved. Some disappeared quickly. Others lingered. None remained forever. Beneath them, the sky never changed. Its quiet openness remained untouched. For the first time, Ren experienced something he had never noticed before. The thoughts were moving, but something within him was not. Something was quietly observing, peacefully, without effort. Master Sora seemed to sense the moment. "What notices the thoughts?" Ren answered slowly. "I do. And what notices the one who notices?" The question floated gently into silence. Ren searched for an answer. None came. Only stillness. Only awareness itself. The old monk smiled. "Some questions are not meant to be answered. They are meant to become quiet." A cool breeze crossed the ridge. Cloud shadows drifted over the valley once more. The mountains welcomed both light and shade without complaint. Neither lasted. Everything moved. Everything changed. Everything continued, except the sky. Master Sora lay back upon the warm grass. His eyes rested upon the endless blue above. "When you lie awake tonight, remember this sky. If thoughts arrive, let them arrive. If they leave, let them leave. You are not responsible for every cloud. You are only responsible for remembering the sky." Ren lay beside him. Together they watched the afternoon slowly become evening. Cloud after cloud crossed overhead. No two were alike. Some bright, some dark, some large, some almost invisible. Each arrived. Each departed. None asked permission. None offered explanation. The sky welcomed everyone, then quietly released everyone. As the sun slowly descended toward the western mountains, golden light spread across the valley. The clouds turned shades of amber, rose, soft violet. For a few breathtaking moments, the entire sky seemed painted with light. Then, even that beauty slowly faded. Night approached. Stars quietly appeared one by one. The clouds became invisible against the darkness. But the sky remained infinite, silent, always present. As Ren and Master Sora began walking back toward the monastery, the path seemed somehow different. Not because the mountains had changed, not because the valley had changed, but because Ren no longer believed every thought deserved to become his identity. Some thoughts were only clouds, passing, changing, disappearing, while something much deeper, something vast, something endlessly peaceful, had been with him all along, like the sky above the mountains, patient, open, and always waiting. Several more peaceful days passed. The rhythm of monastery life had become familiar. Morning light, simple meals, quiet work, evening meditation, gentle sleep. Ren noticed something surprising. The monastery itself had not changed. The mountains had not changed. The river had not changed. Even his thoughts had not disappeared completely. What had changed was the space between them. The thoughts no longer crowded one another. They no longer demanded immediate attention. Sometimes they arrived like distant visitors. Sometimes they quietly left before he even realized they had come. One cool evening, just before sunset, Master Sora approached him once again. The old monk carried no lantern, no walking stick, only a small wooden mallet. "Come with me." They walked toward the oldest building within the monastery. Its weathered beams had darkened with centuries of wind and rain. At the center of the courtyard hung an enormous bronze bell. Its surface was covered with delicate carvings of mountains, rivers, clouds, and blooming lotus flowers. Time had softened its color into deep shades of bronze and gold. Master Sora stopped beneath it. For a long moment, he simply looked at the bell. Ren did the same. Neither spoke. Finally, the old monk asked, "How many times should a bell ring after it has been struck?" Ren smiled. "Once." Master Sora nodded. "Listen carefully." He gently lifted the wooden mallet. There was no force, no hurry, only one slow movement. The mallet touched the bell. Boo! A deep, rich sound filled the evening air. The vibration spread across the courtyard, through the cedar trees, across the gardens, toward the distant valley. It was not loud. It was vast. The note lingered, growing softer, gentler, until finally, silence returned. The old monk lowered the mallet. "The bell has finished." Ren nodded. "Yes." Master Sora turned toward him. "But tell me, how many times has your mind rung after a single event?" Ren lowered his eyes. The question settled deeply within him. He thought of one careless sentence spoken years ago. It had happened once, yet his mind had replayed it hundreds, perhaps thousands of times. He thought of disappointments, embarrassing moments, small failures. Each had occurred only once. But inside his thoughts, the bell had never stopped ringing. Master Sora spoke softly. "Life strikes the bell only once. Our minds often strike it again, and again, and again." He gently rested one hand upon the cool bronze surface. "The suffering is rarely the first sound. It is the echoes we continue creating." A breeze wandered through the courtyard. Prayer flags hanging nearby fluttered softly. The sound had already disappeared. Only memory remained. Master Sora smiled. "Can you still hear the bell?" Ren listened carefully. "No, but can you remember it?" "Yes, there is an important difference." Ren looked thoughtfully at the great bell. "The sound has ended. The memory remains." The old monk nodded. "Wisdom knows the difference." They sat together beneath a nearby pine tree. Evening birds crossed the glowing sky. The sun slowly disappeared behind distant mountains. The first evening star appeared. Master Sora spoke again. When people lie awake at night, they often ring bells that stopped sounding long ago. Ren whispered, I have done that. So have most people. The old monk replied gently. There is no shame in it. There is only the invitation to stop. Striking the bell, silence wrapped around them, comfortable, unhurried. After several peaceful minutes, Master Sora reached into the sleeve of his robe. He removed a tiny bronze bell, no larger than the palm of his hand. He placed it between them. This bell belongs to every new moment. Ren looked at it curiously. It has not yet been rung. Exactly. Master Sora smiled. Every breath is like this. Fresh, unstruck, never used before. He gently touched Ren's shoulder. This breath has never existed. The next one will never exist again. Ren slowly inhaled. Cool evening air entered his lungs. He noticed its freshness, its quiet simplicity. Then he exhaled. That breath was already gone, never to return. Another arrived, entirely new, entirely different. Master Sora continued. Thoughts live in yesterday. Fear lives in tomorrow. But breathing, he smiled warmly, always lives here. Ren closed his eyes. He listened. The breeze, the birds, the rustling pine branches, his own breathing. Nothing else was required. Nothing else was missing. Master Sora whispered, Notice something. Ren remained still. The breath never argues with the last breath. It never tries to become tomorrow's breath. It simply arrives. It simply leaves. The simplicity of those words felt almost unbelievable. How many nights had he refused to rest because yesterday demanded another explanation, or tomorrow demanded another plan? Meanwhile, the breath had quietly continued, patiently waiting, never complaining, never hurrying, always returning. Master Sora rose slowly. Walk with me. They wandered through the monastery gardens as twilight deepened. Lanterns began glowing beneath wooden walkways. Their soft golden light reflected upon smooth stones. The pond beside the maple tree had become perfectly still. The moon had not yet risen. The water reflected only the fading colors of the evening sky. Master Sora stopped beside the pond. He picked up a tiny pebble. Then, instead of throwing it, he gently placed it back upon the earth. Ren smiled. You chose not to make ripples. The old monk smiled back. Not every thought requires action. The words felt like the final piece of a puzzle. Some thoughts could simply be noticed, without following, without believing, without fighting, without feeding, just noticed, then gently allowed to fade. The monastery bell rang once more, far in the distance. One deep note. It spread peacefully through the valley. Then, as before, it disappeared. Neither man spoke. Neither repeated the sound inside their minds. They simply listened, then allowed silence to return. As darkness settled over the mountains, stars slowly filled the sky. The air became cool, the valley quiet. The world seemed to breathe more slowly. Ren felt something he had not experienced in many years. Not excitement, not relief, something gentler. Trust that his mind did not need to become perfectly silent before sleep. Trust that thoughts could come and go like clouds, like leaves, like echoes, like rivers, like bells, each arriving only for its season, each leaving when allowed. Master Sora looked toward the stars. His voice was barely above a whisper. Tonight, when you lie down, Do not wait for every thought to disappear. Instead, listen for the silence that already lives between them. The two stood quietly beneath the endless sky. The mountains rested around them. The monastery glowed softly below. The river continued its ancient song. The wind moved gently through the cedar trees, and somewhere, deep within the quiet spaces of his own heart, Ren realized he was no longer searching for peace. He had already begun living inside it, without effort, without force. One breath, one moment, one quiet night at a time. The evening has gently faded into night. The last colors of sunset have quietly disappeared beyond the mountains. Above the valley, the stars have awakened once again, one by one, softly, patiently, without hurry. The monastery has grown silent. The gardens rest beneath the moonlight. The pine trees sway ever so gently in the cool night breeze. Somewhere in the distance, the river continues, its endless song. Not loud, not distant, simply present, just as it has always been. And now, there is nothing left for you to do. No lesson to remember, no problem to solve, no destination waiting ahead. Only this quiet night, only this peaceful breath. Master Sora walks slowly through the monastery garden. His footsteps are almost soundless upon the smooth stones. You follow behind him, not because you must, but because it feels natural, comfortable, safe. The lantern he carries glows with a warm golden light. Its gentle circle of light stretches across the winding garden path. Beyond it, the night remains beautifully dark, yet nothing about the darkness feels frightening. It simply feels peaceful, like a blanket resting softly upon the earth. Together, you leave the monastery gates once more. The familiar trail welcomes your footsteps. The forest recognizes you. The cedar trees stand quietly on either side. Their tall branches reach gently toward the stars. The cool night air brushes softly against your face. Each breath feels clean, fresh, easy, natural. You breathe in, slowly. You breathe out, even more slowly. Again, a calm breath in, a peaceful breath out. There is nowhere else to be, no tomorrow to prepare, no yesterday to revisit, only this step. Then another. The path curves gently through the forest. Moonlight slips between the branches above. Silver light rests upon smooth stones. Tiny flowers close their petals for the night. The birds have already fallen asleep. Even the wind seems quieter now. Master Sora finally stops beside a small wooden bench overlooking the valley. He sits. You sit beside him. Neither of you speaks. There is no need. The valley stretches peacefully below. Tiny lanterns glow faintly around the monastery buildings. The river reflects the moon like a ribbon of silver silk. Everything feels slower, softer, more gentle than before. Master Sora whispers almost silently, "Listen." You close your eyes. At first, you hear the river. Its quiet rhythm rises and falls. Steady, constant, always moving. Then, you hear the wind, softly touching pine needles, like countless tiny whispers. Then, you notice your own breathing. Slow, comfortable, gentle. It blends naturally with every sound around you. The river breathes. The forest breathes. The mountains breathe. You breathe. Everything moving together. Everything resting together. Master Sora speaks again. When you cannot sleep, do not search for silence. He pauses. You are already inside it. The words drift gently into the night, then disappear, like mist, like breath, like a leaf floating downstream. The silence becomes even deeper, not empty, never empty, filled with peaceful sounds, filled with gentle life, filled with quiet presence. You notice how relaxed your shoulders have become. There is no tension there now, only softness. Your arms feel pleasantly heavy. Your hands rest comfortably. Your jaw relaxes. The muscles around your eyes become smooth. Even your forehead feels light, as though every expression has quietly dissolved into stillness. Master Sora reaches toward the ground beside him. He picks up a small pine cone. He turns it slowly in his hands, then gently places it back upon the earth. Nothing more, nothing less. He smiles. Everything returns. When its time has come, you look toward the forest floor. Countless pine cones, countless leaves, countless tiny branches, each resting peacefully where they belong. None of them wondering if they should be somewhere else. None of them wishing yesterday had been different. None of them fearing tomorrow. Only resting, only belonging. The breeze becomes slightly cooler. It moves through the valley below, across the river, through the monastery rooftops, past the ancient bell, into the quiet forest. Finally, it reaches you. Cool, gentle, refreshing. You breathe it in, then let it go. Again, breathing in, slowly, breathing out, softly. Your breathing has become effortless now, almost invisible, almost like the forest itself is breathing through you. Master Sora quietly stands, without speaking. He begins walking again, this time toward the river, the familiar mountain path, winds gently downward. Every step feels lighter than the one before. No hurry, no destination, only walking, only breathing, only being. Eventually, the trees begin opening. The sound of flowing water grows clearer. The river welcomes you once more. Moonlight dances upon its surface. Silver ripples move endlessly toward the valley below. Master Sora kneels beside the water. He does not touch it. He simply watches. You kneel beside him. For a long while, you both watch the river, nothing else. The water continues flowing, one small wave after another, one gentle current after another. No beginning, no ending, only movement, only peace. Master Sora whispers. So many people spend their nights trying to stop the river. His smile is kind, but rivers have never needed stopping. They only ask to be watched. You continue watching. The current carries tiny leaves beneath the moonlight. Some move quickly, some slowly, some disappear around distant stones. None remain. Your thoughts may still come. If they do, imagine placing each one gently upon the river. No pushing, no throwing, simply placing, then watching. One thought, floating quietly away. Another, following the current. Another, disappearing beyond the bend. You do nothing. The river does everything. You only watch. You only breathe. You only rest. The night grows even quieter. The stars shine overhead. The mountains stand faithfully around the valley. The forest breathes. The river sings. The wind whispers. Everything continues exactly as it should. Without effort. Without resistance. Without worry. Your body feels warm, comfortable, supported by the earth beneath you. Your breathing slows another little. In, out, in, out. Master Sora's voice has become almost impossible to distinguish from the wind itself. Let the river carry. whatever you no longer wish to hold. Nothing more, only those gentle words. Then silence, long, comfortable, healing silence. You remain beside the river, watching the silver current beneath the moon, watching the reflections drift endlessly onward, watching thoughts become leaves, leaves become ripples, ripples become stillness. The valley continues sleeping. The monastery continues dreaming. The stars continue shining, and little by little, without noticing exactly when, your own busy mind begins drifting with the river, farther, softer, quieter, toward the peaceful stillness that has been waiting for you all along. Beneath the whispering pines, the river continues flowing quietly through the valley. Master Sora slowly rises from the riverbank. He does not speak. There is no need. You follow him gently into the forest. The path is soft beneath your feet. Pine needles cover the ground like a natural carpet. Above you, tall cedar and pine trees sway slowly in the night breeze. Their branches whisper to one another, softly, endlessly, like a lullaby older than memory. Moonlight filters through the trees. Silver light rests upon smooth stones. It touches the path. It touches the quiet leaves. It touches your shoulders as you walk. The air feels cool and clean. Each breath arrives gently. Each breath leaves gently. Nothing needs to change. Nothing needs to happen. You simply walk. Master Sora stops beneath an enormous pine tree. Its trunk is wide and ancient. Its branches disappear into the darkness above. The old monk sits at the base of the tree. You sit beside him. The forest grows very still, not empty, never empty, filled with small, peaceful sounds. The whisper of needles, the distant river, the soft movement of wind, your own breathing, in, out, slowly, comfortably, without effort. Master Sora closes his eyes. You do the same. For a little while, simply listen. Listen to the forest breathing around you. Listen to the night resting around you. Listen to the gentle rise and fall of your own breath. A thought may appear. That is all right. Another thought may appear. That is all right too. Imagine each thought becoming a small pine needle. The wind touches it. It drifts softly to the earth. No struggle. No force. No need to hold it. One thought, drifting down. Another thought, settling gently. Another, joining the quiet forest floor. The great pine tree remains, calm, steady, patient. It has watched countless seasons pass. Spring blossoms, summer rains, autumn leaves, winter snow. None stayed forever. The tree remained. Master Sora whispers so softly that his voice almost becomes part of the wind. The tree does not chase the seasons. It rests while they pass. Silence returns. Long, gentle, comfortable silence. Your shoulders soften a little more. Your arms feel pleasantly heavy. Your hands relax. Your jaw loosens. The tiny muscles around your eyes let go. Even your forehead becomes smooth and quiet. The forest seems warmer now, safer, more peaceful, as though the pine tree itself is offering shelter. Far away, an owl calls once. Then the night becomes still again. The sound fades naturally. Nothing holds it. Nothing repeats it. It comes. It goes. Just like thoughts. Just like clouds. Just like leaves. Just like ripples on water. You breathe in. Cool night air. You breathe out. Soft warmth. Again. In. Out. In. Out. The whispering pines continue their ancient song. Slow, steady, endless. Somewhere beyond the trees, the river continues flowing. Somewhere above the branches, the stars continue shining. Somewhere deep within you, a quiet place continues waiting. And now, perhaps you can feel it. Not a dramatic change, not a sudden silence, only a gentle softening, a little more space, a little less effort, a little more rest. Master Sora remains beside the great pine tree. The forest watches peacefully around you. The night grows deeper, quieter, softer. Your breathing slows naturally. In, out, in, out. Nothing to solve. Nothing to remember. Nothing to prepare. Only this breath. Only this night. Only this gentle moment beneath the whispering pines. And little by little, as the wind moves softly through the branches, as the river sings quietly in the distance, as the stars watch over the sleeping valley, your busy mind becomes lighter, softer, quieter, like a pine needle drifting gently to the earth, like a leaf floating downstream, like a cloud crossing the moon, passing, resting, fading gently into the peaceful night. The forest slowly opens. The whispering pines remain behind you. Ahead, a quiet lake rests peacefully beneath the night sky. Its surface is perfectly still, so still that it is difficult to tell where the water ends and where the sky begins. The full moon hangs gently above the mountains. Its silver light rests upon the lake, without effort, without asking permission. Simply shining, Master Sora walks toward the water's edge. His footsteps are slow, gentle, almost silent. You follow him. The earth beneath your feet feels soft, covered with cool grass and fallen pine needles. Each step becomes lighter. Each breath becomes slower. The night welcomes you completely. Master Sora sits beside the lake. You sit beside him. Neither of you speaks. The silence feels warm, comfortable, like returning home after a very long journey. For a little while, there is nothing to notice except the water. The moon reflects perfectly upon its surface, round, bright, peaceful. A soft breeze passes across the lake. Tiny ripples appear. The reflection gently trembles. The moon seems to dance. Then, the breeze continues onward. The ripples slowly fade, and once again, the moon appears exactly as before. Master Sora smiles. The moon never became broken. His voice is almost a whisper. Only the water moved. You continue watching. The lake asks for nothing. It does not try to become calmer. It simply allows each ripple to finish. Then stillness returns on its own. Master Sora gently places one fingertip into the water. Small circles spread outward. One, then another, until they disappear into the quiet darkness. He lifts his hand. The lake slowly becomes smooth again. No ripple remains forever, he says softly. No thought does either. You breathe in. The cool night air feels wonderfully fresh. You breathe out. Long, slow, comfortable. Again, a gentle breath in, a peaceful breath out. Your breathing now feels as quiet as the lake itself. The moon continues shining. The stars continue watching from above. Thousands of tiny lights, scattered across the endless sky. Some bright, some faint, each quietly keeping its place. Master Sora looks upward. When you cannot sleep, borrow the patience of the stars. You follow his gaze. The stars never hurry across the sky. They simply remain, night after night, season after season, without effort, without worry, The old monk closes his eyes. You do the same. Imagine now your thoughts becoming tiny ripples upon this quiet lake. One thought appears, a small ripple. It widens gently, then fades. Another thought arrives, another circle, another soft movement, then stillness, another memory, another ripple, then calm water once more. You do not stop the ripples. You do not create them. You simply watch, watching, breathing, resting. Your shoulders feel wonderfully heavy now. The muscles in your neck soften. Your arms relax completely. Your hands become warm. Your legs feel comfortably supported by the earth. Even your eyelids seem pleasantly heavy. The night wraps gently around you, like a soft blanket, like warm moonlight, like quiet kindness. Master Sora speaks again. Sometimes we believe peace has left us. He pauses. But peace is only waiting for the water to become still again. The words drift away, leaving only silence. Long, gentle, healing silence. A small fish briefly rises beneath the moonlight. Tiny circles spread across the lake, then disappear. Nothing has been disturbed. Nothing has been lost. The moon remains. The stars remain. The lake remains. Everything continues exactly as it should. Far across the water, a single white crane stands quietly near the reeds. It does not move. It does not search. It simply rests. Patient, peaceful, present. The breeze touches the reeds. They sway together, slowly, gracefully, without resistance. You notice your own breathing once more. In, out, in, out. Each breath arrives naturally. Each breath leaves naturally. There is nothing to improve, nothing to change, nothing to perfect. Only breathing, only resting, only allowing. Master Sora quietly places a smooth stone into your hand. Its surface feels cool, rounded by countless years beneath flowing water. He says, "Notice how smooth it has become." You gently run your fingers across it. No sharp edges remain, only softness, only curves. The old monk smiles. The river did not hurry. The lake did not hurry. Time itself became gentle. You hold the stone for another quiet moment. Then, without ceremony, you place it beside you upon the earth. Everything knows where it belongs. Even the stone, even the breeze, even the silence. Above, a cloud slowly drifts across the moon. The reflection grows softer. The lake darkens slightly. Nothing feels missing. The moon is still there, hidden only for a little while, just as quiet sometimes hides beneath busy thoughts. Waiting patiently, never leaving. The cloud continues. The moon returns, bright, whole, unchanged. Master Sora smiles without opening his eyes. You see, you smile too. No answer is needed. The lake has already spoken. The moon has already answered. The night itself has become the lesson. You remain beside the still water, breathing slowly, listening gently, feeling the quiet spread through your body, through your mind, through every peaceful breath. The mountains continue watching over the valley. The stars continue shining above. The forest continues whispering behind you. The river continues flowing somewhere beyond the trees. And here, beside the quiet lake, the moon continues resting upon the still water, just as peace continues resting quietly within you, without effort, without struggle, without needing to be found, only remembered, only welcomed, only allowed. Your breathing becomes slower still. The spaces between each breath become gentle, comfortable, safe. The night grows deeper. The world grows quieter. And little by little, without noticing the exact moment, you begin drifting even farther, farther into softness, farther into stillness, farther into the quiet embrace of peaceful sleep. The night has grown even quieter now. The moon has climbed a little higher above the mountains. Its gentle light rests upon every rooftop of the monastery. The ancient bell is silent. The meditation hall is dark. Every window glows only with the soft memory of candlelight that has long since faded. Even the wind has slowed, as though it, too, has decided to rest. Master Sora rises quietly from the lakeside, without a word. He begins the slow walk back toward the monastery. You follow beside him, not leading, not following closely, simply walking together. The familiar path welcomes your gentle footsteps. The earth feels warm beneath the cool night air. The scent of cedar lingers softly around you. A few tiny fireflies drift between the trees. Their lights appear, then disappear. Appear, then disappear again. Never hurried, never lost. Simply moving through the darkness with quiet confidence. Soon, the monastery gate comes into view. Its wooden beams stand peacefully beneath the moonlight. The gardens beyond have become a world of silver and shadow. Master Sora steps inside. You enter with him. Everything is still. The stone paths glisten with tiny drops of evening dew. Each blade of grass holds a small crystal of water. The flowers that open proudly beneath the morning sun have now folded their petals. Not because they are weak, not because they are afraid, but because every living thing understands the wisdom of rest. The roses sleep. The lilies sleep. The jasmine vines rest quietly upon their wooden trellises. Even the bamboo seems to breathe more slowly. Master Sora pauses beside a single white lotus growing within the monastery pond. Its petals have gently closed for the night. The moon reflects softly upon the dark water surrounding it. He smiles. The flower does not fear closing. It trusts the morning. His words drift into the quiet garden, then become part of the silence. You remain beside the pond, watching, breathing, resting. A tiny breeze passes across the water. The reflection of the moon trembles gently, then becomes still once more. Your own breathing follows the same quiet rhythm. In, softly. Out, slowly. Again. In, gentle. Out, peaceful. There is no effort, no counting, only breathing, as natural as the night itself. Somewhere beyond the monastery walls, a cricket begins its evening song. Another answers from farther away, then another. The sounds are delicate, gentle, almost like tiny bells hidden among the grass. They ask for nothing. They simply sing, then pause, then sing again. Master Sora closes his eyes. You do the same. He whispers so softly that you almost wonder whether the garden itself is speaking. Notice how the flowers rest. They do not wonder whether they bloomed enough today. They do not worry about tomorrow's rain. They simply close. When evening arrives, a long silence follows, comfortable, healing. The scent of jasmine drifts gently through the cool air, sweet, soft, almost impossible to describe. It arrives. It lingers for a moment. Then the breeze carries it onward. Just like every thought, just like every memory, just like every breath. Nothing needs to stay forever. Nothing is asked to remain. The old stone lantern beside the pond glows faintly. Its candle burns with a quiet golden flame. The light reaches only a few steps into the darkness. No farther, and yet it is enough. Enough for this path, enough for this moment, enough for this peaceful night. Master Sora opens his hands. His palms rest gently upon his knees. Relaxed, unhurried, without holding anything, you notice your own hands. Perhaps they too can rest now. Your fingers soften, your wrists become loose, your arms grow pleasantly heavy, your shoulders sink just a little deeper, your neck releases another small layer of tension. Even your breathing feels lighter now. The body seems to understand that nothing more is required tonight. The moon continues shining. Clouds drift quietly overhead. The garden remains peaceful beneath them all. No flower rushes toward morning. No tree hurries the sunrise. The earth knows how to wait, patiently, calmly, completely. A single maple leaf loosens from a nearby branch. It turns slowly through the moonlight. One graceful circle, then another, until it reaches the ground without making a sound. The garden welcomes it. Nothing resists. Nothing clings. Everything belongs. Master Sora smiles. So does this moment. You allow those words to settle gently within you. This moment belongs exactly as it is. Nothing needs to be added. Nothing needs to be removed. The quiet is already complete. The stars continue their silent watch above the monastery. The pond reflects their tiny lights. The bamboo sways gently. The crickets continue their patient song. The flowers sleep. The trees rest. The mountains keep their ancient silence. And you are simply here, breathing, resting, being. Another slow breath arrives. Cool, comfortable. You welcome it. Another gentle breath leaves. Warm, easy. You release it. Again. In, out, in, out. The rhythm becomes softer, slower, almost like gentle waves touching the shore. Master Sora's voice grows quieter still. Soften, nothing more. Just that single word. Soften your breathing. Soften your shoulders. Soften your thoughts. Soften your heart. Allow everything to become just a little lighter, a little quieter, a little more peaceful. The candle inside the stone lantern flickers gently, never struggling against the darkness, simply offering its small circle of light. The darkness asks nothing from it. The light asks nothing from the darkness. Both belong to the same peaceful night. You notice how wonderfully supported you feel. Supported by the earth, supported by the quiet, supported by each slow breath. There is nowhere to go, nothing left to understand, nothing waiting to be solved before morning. Only this beautiful garden, only this gentle moon, only this silent monastery, only this peaceful night. The air grows cooler, the stars shine a little brighter. The world seems to breathe more slowly with you, and somewhere between one quiet breath and the next, the boundary between wakefulness and sleep begins to soften, like moonlight upon still water, like mist above the river, like a flower peacefully closing its petals, without effort, without resistance, without even noticing the exact moment. You simply continue resting, breathing, floating gently, deeper into the quiet, deeper into the stillness, deeper into the calm embrace of a peaceful night's sleep. The night has become wonderfully deep now. The monastery rests in complete stillness. The gardens remain peaceful beneath the moon. The river continues its gentle journey through the valley. The stars quietly watch over everything below. Nothing asks to be different. Nothing asks to be more. Everything simply rests. Master Sora slowly leaves the garden. Without a sound, he begins walking toward the highest hill above the monastery. You follow at an easy pace. Each step is slow, unhurried, gentle. The path feels familiar now. You have walked it before. The smooth stones, the whispering grasses, the quiet cedar trees. Everything welcomes you once again. The air feels cooler here. Fresh mountain air fills your lungs. You breathe in, slowly. You breathe out, even more slowly. Again. A calm breath in, a peaceful breath out. There is no destination now. Only walking, only breathing, only resting. Eventually, the trees begin to thin. The path opens onto a quiet hillside, overlooking the sleeping valley. Below, the monastery appears small beneath the silver moonlight. The river glows softly. The forests become dark waves stretching toward distant mountains. Far above, the stars seem endless, countless lights resting quietly across the night sky. Master Sora sits upon a smooth stone. You sit beside him. Neither of you speaks. The silence has become an old friend, comfortable, gentle, safe. For a long while, you simply look toward the mountains. They stand exactly as they have for centuries. Patient, still, peaceful. Storms have come, storms have gone. Snow has covered them. Spring flowers have returned. Clouds have hidden them. Sunlight has revealed them. Yet the mountains have never hurried. They have never worried about tomorrow's sunrise. They have never tried to hold yesterday's sunset. They simply remain. Master Sora smiles softly. The mountain knows that morning always comes. His words drift gently into the cool night air. Then, silence returns. The moon slowly moves across the sky, almost too slowly to notice. Clouds continue their quiet journey. The stars remain. The mountains remain. You breathe. In, out, in, out. Your breathing has become wonderfully slow now, almost effortless, almost invisible. The cool air enters, the warm air leaves. Nothing more is needed. Master Sora closes his eyes. You gently close yours as well. Imagine yourself becoming the mountain. Not hard, not heavy, simply steady. Thoughts may come, like passing clouds. Feelings may come, like gentle rain. Dreams may come, like morning mist. Yet beneath them all, the mountain remains, calm, unmoving, patient, strong. A thought appears, perhaps only for a moment. You notice it. Then, like a cloud, it quietly drifts away. Another thought arrives. You notice it too. Nothing else. No judgment. No effort. No struggle. It also continues on its way. The mountain never follows the clouds. The sky never chases the wind. The earth never rushes the seasons. Everything rests in its own perfect rhythm. You begin noticing the gentle weight of your body. Your feet feel wonderfully relaxed. Your legs grow pleasantly heavy. Your hips soften into the earth beneath you. Your back becomes completely supported. Your shoulders release another small layer of tension. Your arms rest naturally. Your hands become warm. Your fingers loosen. Your jaw softens. Your cheeks relax. The tiny muscles around your eyes become completely still. Even your forehead grows smooth, peaceful, comfortable. You breathe in. Cool mountain air. You breathe out. Warm relaxation. Again. In, out, in, out. The rhythm becomes slower, gentler, almost like waves reaching a quiet shore. Master Sora whispers, There is nothing to carry tonight. Those few words settle deeply. Nothing to carry. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, not unfinished conversations, not unanswered questions, not expectations, not worries. The mountain carries none of them. It simply stands, present, here, now. The breeze moves softly across the hillside. It brushes against the grasses, across the cedar trees, across your face. Cool, kind, refreshing. Then it continues, never asking to stay, never fearing that it must leave. Everything belongs to its own moment. Everything arrives. Everything departs. Everything is enough. Far below, the river continues flowing through the valley. You can almost hear its distant song. Soft, steady, endless. Above, the stars continue shining, one by one, without hurry, without effort. They have nothing to prove. They simply shine, just as the mountain simply rests, just as the river simply flows, just as the forest simply breathes. And now, you simply breathe too. Nothing more. Only this breath. Only this peaceful night. Only this quiet mountain. The silence grows even deeper. The spaces between each breath become longer. Comfortable. Natural. Safe. You notice how wonderfully quiet your body has become. Even your heartbeat feels calm. Steady. Gentle. Like a small drum somewhere deep within the valley. Master Sora remains beside you. He says nothing now. His presence alone feels peaceful, like the mountain, like the moon, like the quiet sky above. No teaching is needed anymore. No words are necessary. Everything that needed to be understood has already been understood. Everything that needed to be released has already begun drifting away. The night itself now becomes the teacher. The mountain becomes the teacher. The silence becomes the teacher. Your breathing becomes the teacher. You allow yourself to sink just a little deeper into comfort, a little deeper into stillness, a little deeper into rest. The moon slowly begins its journey toward the western horizon, somewhere beyond the distant mountains. Tomorrow quietly waits, but it does not call for you. Not yet. Morning knows how to arrive by itself. There is nothing you need to prepare. Nothing you need to anticipate. The mountain has never worried about sunrise. Neither do the stars. Neither does the river. Neither does the sleeping forest. Tonight, you may rest exactly as they do. Completely, peacefully, without effort, without expectation, without fear. The cool mountain air surrounds you like the gentlest blanket. The earth supports you completely. The sky stretches endlessly above. The valley sleeps peacefully below. And somewhere, very quietly, very naturally, without even noticing when, you begin drifting farther from thought, farther from effort, farther from wakefulness, into a place of deep comfort, deep quiet, deep rest, as peaceful as the mountain waiting patiently for the gentle arrival of dawn. The night has become very quiet now, so quiet that even silence seems to be resting. The mountains remain peacefully beneath the stars. The monastery sleeps. The gardens sleep. The river continues its gentle song. The forest breathes softly beneath the moon. Everything has found its place. And now, you, too, may simply rest. Master Sora remains beside you upon the quiet hillside. He says nothing. There is no need for more teaching. No more questions, no more answers, only quiet companionship beneath the endless sky. The stars continue shining above. thousands upon thousands of tiny lights, some bright, some barely visible, each one quietly resting in the darkness, none competing, none rushing, none wondering if they are enough. They simply shine, exactly as they are, exactly where they are. You lift your eyes toward them. The sky seems endless, deep, gentle, infinite. For a few quiet moments, there is only the sky, only the stars, only your breathing. In, softly, out, slowly, again, in, out. Every breath feels lighter now. Every exhale releases something you no longer need to carry. Perhaps a small worry, perhaps an old memory, perhaps nothing at all. Only the simple feeling of letting go. Master Sora's voice drifts through the stillness. So many people fear the night. He pauses, but the stars have never feared it. The words settle gently, without asking you to understand them, without asking you to remember them. They simply become part of the silence. A small breeze moves across the hillside. The grasses bow together, then slowly rise again. Nothing resists. Nothing struggles. Everything moves with quiet grace. Far below, the river continues flowing. Its sound is softer now, almost like a distant lullaby. The forest whispers. The mountains listen. The stars remain patient. Everything belongs exactly where it is. You notice your breathing again. It has become slower, gentler, almost impossible to hear. The spaces between each breath have become longer, comfortable, natural, peaceful. Your body feels wonderfully heavy, as though the earth itself is gently holding you. Your feet rest completely. Your legs feel warm. Your hips sink softly into the ground. Your back is fully supported. Your shoulders have released every remaining weight. Your arms rest effortlessly. Your hands are quiet. Your fingers loose. Your face peaceful. Your jaw relaxed. Your eyelids wonderfully heavy. There is nothing left to hold. Nothing left to protect. Nothing left to solve. Only this quiet night. Master Sora slowly looks toward the eastern horizon. It is still dark, very dark. Morning has not yet arrived, and yet there is no impatience. The mountain does not hurry the dawn. The stars do not fear its arrival. The moon does not cling to the sky. Everything understands its own perfect time. He smiles gently. The night knows when to become morning. You do not need to help it. The words are carried away by the breeze, leaving only stillness behind. You breathe in the coolness of the mountain. You breathe out soft warmth. Again, in, out. The rhythm continues by itself. No effort, no control, only breathing, only resting. A shooting star quietly crosses the sky. It appears for only a moment. A single line of silver. Then, darkness once again. No sadness, no regret. Its beauty lived completely within that single moment. Master Sora watches the empty sky where it passed, then quietly says, "Not everything beautiful is meant to stay." Silence answers. You allow those words to drift away. Just like the shooting star, there is no need to keep them, no need to remember them. If they remain, they remain. If they fade, they fade. Everything is welcome. Everything is free to leave. The stars continue shining above you. They ask nothing of you. The mountains ask nothing. The river asks nothing. Even sleep asks nothing. It never demands. It never hurries. It simply arrives. When you stop searching for it, You begin noticing the gentle darkness behind your closed eyes. Soft, comfortable, like warm velvet, like a peaceful cave, like the quiet space beneath ancient trees. Nothing needs to appear there. Nothing needs to happen. Simply darkness, simple rest, simple peace. Your breathing grows even softer. In, out, long, slow, easy. The spaces between thoughts become wider, like the open sky between distant stars. Sometimes a thought appears, a tiny light. Then it quietly fades, leaving even more space, even more silence, even more peace. Master Sora remains completely still. His breathing is slow, steady, almost impossible to hear. His presence feels like the mountain itself, calm, patient, unmoving, safe. You realize something without needing words. You have been searching for peace, yet peace has been quietly waiting beside you all along. Inside every breath, inside every pause, inside every silent space between one thought and the next. There is nothing left to learn tonight. Nothing left to understand. Only resting, only breathing, only allowing yourself to become lighter, softer, quieter. The stars slowly continue their journey across the sky. The moon gently lowers toward the horizon. The valley sleeps deeply below. The monastery dreams peacefully. The river never stops singing. The forest never stops breathing. And you no longer need to follow the story. You no longer need to listen to every word. You no longer need to stay awake. If the words begin drifting away, let them drift. If the sounds become distant, let them become distant. If sleep is already waiting nearby, let it come. Without effort, without expectation, without even noticing the exact moment. One gentle breath, then another. One peaceful silence, then another. One quiet heartbeat, then another. Everything becoming softer, everything becoming slower, everything becoming lighter, until even these words begin fading like mist beneath the morning sky, leaving only quiet, only warmth, only stillness, only the endless kindness of peaceful sleep. The night is very quiet now, so quiet that even the mountains seem to be dreaming. The moon rests low above the distant hills. The stars continue their gentle watch. The river continues flowing. The forest continues breathing. Everything continues, without asking anything of you. There is nowhere left to go, nothing left to understand, nothing left to remember. Only this peaceful night, only this gentle moment, only this quiet breath. Master Sora remains beside you. He says nothing for a long while. The silence itself has become enough. The silence itself has become the story. You no longer need to follow every word. If a sentence drifts away, let it drift. If a thought appears, let it appear. If another thought quietly disappears, let it disappear. Everything is welcome. Everything is free to leave. You breathe in, slowly, softly, comfortably. You breathe out, even more slowly, even more gently. Again, a peaceful breath in, a peaceful breath out. The earth beneath you feels warm, steady, safe. It has been holding mountains for thousands of years. It can easily hold you tonight. The cool air brushes softly across your face, like a caring hand, like a gentle whisper, like kindness itself. Your shoulders become just a little softer. Your arms become just a little heavier. Your hands rest completely. Your fingers no longer need to hold anything. Your jaw relaxes. Your cheeks soften. The tiny muscles around your eyes become perfectly still. Even your forehead lets go of every last little wrinkle. Everything becomes quiet. Everything becomes easy. Far away, the river continues its endless song. You no longer need to listen carefully. You simply know it is there. Always flowing. Always moving. Always peaceful. Just as your breathing continues. Without effort. Without planning. Without control. Breathing in. Breathing out. The spaces between each breath become longer. Gentler. More comfortable. Like floating upon calm water. Like resting beneath old cedar trees. Like lying beneath an endless sky filled with stars. Master Sora finally speaks. His voice is softer than ever before. Soften. A long pause follows. Soften your breath. Another pause. Soften your thoughts. Silence. Soften your heart. Another long silence. And allow the night to do the rest. His words dissolve gently into the darkness. Never forgotten how to sing. The flowers have never forgotten how to open. And sleep has never forgotten how to find you. There is no need to search for it. Only allow it. Like opening a window. Like relaxing your hands. Like floating upon gentle water. One breath. Another breath. Slowly. Quietly. Naturally. Your body knows exactly what to do. Your heart knows exactly how to rest. Your breathing knows exactly how to slow. Nothing needs your attention anymore. The mountains are watching. The forest is breathing. The stars are shining. The night is holding everything safely, including you. If thoughts still appear, smile gently toward them, then let them continue on their journey. Like clouds crossing the sky, like leaves riding the river, like echoes fading across the valley, like the sound of the ancient bell, ringing only once, then returning to silence. The silence feels endless now, warm, gentle, comfortable, almost like a quiet ocean surrounding every breath. You are safe, you are supported, you are exactly where you need to be. Nothing is missing, nothing has been forgotten, nothing is unfinished. This night is complete. This breath is complete. This moment is complete. Master Sora slowly bows his head, not as a farewell, but as a blessing for peaceful rest. He speaks one final time. May your mind become as open as the sky. May your heart become as gentle as the river. May your dreams become as quiet as the mountains. And may you remember that peace has never been far away. It has always been breathing with you. His voice becomes softer, almost impossible to hear, like wind moving through distant pine trees, like moonlight resting upon still water, like the quiet kindness that asks for nothing in return. The monastery sleeps, the valley sleeps, the forest sleeps, the river continues singing its endless lullaby. The mountains remain patient beneath the stars. Everything is exactly as it should be. And now, there are even fewer words, longer pauses, gentler breaths, breathing in, breathing out, in, out, slowly, softly, peacefully. The night grows deeper, the silence grows warmer, the story becomes lighter, the words become farther away, until they are only gentle echoes, floating quietly through the valley, like mist before dawn, like feathers upon still air, like dreams that no longer need language. Nothing to do, nothing to think, nothing to remember, only rest, Only peace, only sleep. The night continues, quietly, gently, patiently. Nothing asks for your attention now. Nothing needs to be remembered. Nothing needs to be understood. Only this peaceful night. Only this gentle breath. Only this quiet rest. The mountains remain where they have always been. Still, strong, silent. The river continues its endless journey. Never rushing, never stopping. The forest continues breathing. The stars continue shining. The moon slowly continues its path across the sky. Everything moves in perfect harmony, without effort, without worry, without fear. Your breathing is slow now, very slow, comfortably slow. Breathing in, breathing out. Again, in, out. There is nothing to improve, nothing to change. Your body already knows how to rest. Your heart already knows how to soften. Your mind already knows how to become quiet. It has always known. It simply needed permission. And tonight, you have given it that permission. Master Sora remains nearby. He says nothing. His quiet presence is enough. Like an old tree, like a calm river, like the gentle moon above. No advice, no instruction, only peaceful company. Perhaps you notice that the story has become lighter, the words have become fewer, the silence has become larger. That is exactly as it should be, because sleep does not arrive through more words. It arrives between the words, inside the quiet spaces, inside each gentle pause. The night holds you safely. The earth supports you completely. The air moves softly around you. Every breath reminds you that you are here, that you are safe, that this moment asks nothing more of you. If a thought appears, allow it. If it disappears, allow that too. If no thoughts appear at all, simply rest. Everything is welcome. Everything is free. Everything belongs. Far away, the monastery sleeps. Its wooden halls rest beneath the moonlight. The old bell hangs quietly. It has finished ringing. It asks for nothing more tonight. The lanterns have become dim. The gardens are covered in silver dew. The flowers continue sleeping peacefully. The bamboo sways gently. The pine trees whisper softly. The river sings its ancient lullaby. Nothing has changed, and because nothing has changed, everything feels wonderfully peaceful. Another slow breath. In, out. Your shoulders soften. Your hands become warm. Your fingers rest naturally. Your face is completely relaxed. Even the tiny muscles around your eyes have become perfectly still. Your breathing continues on its own. There is nothing left to control, nothing left to hold, nothing left to carry. The stars remain above you, countless quiet lights, patient, kind, steady. They have watched over countless peaceful nights. Tonight, they quietly watch over yours. The moon slowly lowers. The valley remains asleep. The mountains remain faithful. The forest remains calm. The river remains gentle. And you may simply continue resting. Long before morning arrives, the birds are already dreaming of their first song. The flowers are already waiting for the first warmth of sunlight. The river already knows where it will flow tomorrow. The mountains already know they will welcome another dawn. Nothing needs to prepare. Nothing needs to worry. Everything unfolds naturally. So may your rest. Master Sora quietly bows, not because the journey is ending, but because peace no longer needs a guide. It has found its own way. It has found its own home. Inside each gentle breath, inside each quiet heartbeat, inside the stillness that has always been waiting for you. His final whisper is almost impossible to hear. Sleep peacefully, sleep deeply, sleep gently, and when morning arrives, may you awaken with a quiet heart. Then, even those words disappear. Now, only silence. Breathing in, breathing out. In, out. The spaces become longer. The pauses become softer. The story slowly fades into the night. The night slowly becomes a dream. The dream slowly becomes peaceful sleep. Nothing more to hear. Nothing more to follow. Nothing more to do. Only the quiet valley. Only the gentle river. Only the ancient mountains. Only the whispering pines. Only the endless sky. Only the peaceful breath. Only the kindness of this night. Rest now. Rest deeply. Rest peacefully. And let the night carry you softly, gently, effortlessly into the quiet embrace of perfect, peaceful sleep. Good night.